Good afternoon and welcome to our 51st Global Connectivity Conference on Real Estate for CIPS only. I welcome you today. It's a beautiful day outside, and before I do a presentation, I would request all of you one by one introduce yourself. So we're going to start with Kiko. Introduce yourself, please.
Sure. My name is Francisco Angulo, also known as Kiko. I originally from Venezuela, been living in the US for a long time. I'm based out of Miami, Florida. I am the Vice President of Global Development for Anywhere Real Estate. My responsibility is to expand 4 of the 6 Anywhere brands, which are Coldwell Banker Real Estate, Century 21, ERA Real Estate, and Better Home and Gardens Real Estate. My goal is just to open many markets around the globe, and I have so far opened 45 countries in all of the 5 of the 6 Anywhere brands, which includes also Corcoran and Sotheby's in the past. And I've been in real estate for 25 years, and I've been a CIPS since 2004. I got my designation in New Orleans when Kathy Watley was president, installed at NAR conference held in New Orleans as well.
Fantastic, thank you. Adriana, your turn.
Thank you, Tahir. I am Adriana Martinez. I am from Coldwell Banker Realty in Minnesota, and I specialize in global and international real estate in the luxury sector. And I am with the intention or the goal to open a market in Mexico. So I think I'm going to talk to Kiko and see how he's doing for all the branches that he's opening. And I am here to learn and to offer whatever help I can to you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adriana. Now, Tricia is here. So, Tricia, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. How are you? I was actually at Realtor Quest, but it was pretty crazy busy. So it's good to see you. I can't be on long, but I wanted to say good morning.
Thank you very much. We're taking time to asking each one to introduce a minute or so. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Tricia Lehan from the Greater Metro Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. I lived and worked in Canada for almost 30 years, and I've been in Arizona 20 this fall. So working with Canadian buyers and sellers has been a very strong niche of mine, and very passionate about global real estate. Good to
Wonderful. As you know, my name is Tahir Qureshi. I own a small brokerage, City Realty. I deal with residential and commercial real estate. And sorry, let me turn this off. And residential commercial real estate. Also, I'm a principal broker of Canada Express Mortgage and a licensed builder in Ontario. So without money, you cannot buy anything. Without money, you cannot build anything. So I kind of covered all 3 areas. And we are here to help. And also, I'm a CIPS instructor for NAR. And also, I'm instructor with the Real Estate Institute of Canada here. And we are here to help. And also, I'm the host of Realty Coffee Talk that generated the Global Connectivity Conference. I'm very proud that we have done 51 consecutive months, our monthly conferences, and build a lot of friendship and networking and partnership and making referral to each other. And I'm glad to be here. So before I do my presentation, what's going on in the marketplace, if you want to share with Kiko, we're going to start with you. You want to share any market update or anything, because you are instrumental in establishing a brokerage in 45 countries. So would you be interested to share some market update in your area where you're practicing, or any other jurisdiction?
Well, actually, let me just clarify. I'm an active realtor license, and I have my license here in Miami, in the Coral Gables office, but I'm not an active realtor because I am the Vice President of Global Development selling franchises outside the US. And so in reality, all my leads that I receive are handled by a colleague of mine at Coldwell Banker. And while I do my job of opening markets of the Anywhere brands around the globe.
Wonderful. So, Adriana, you want to share some experience of what you are going on in the marketplace, how the impact you feel, and anything you want to update?
Well, the market is, I think, is slightly slow comparing to last year, but still is going, and we still see even multiple offers here. I think the market is going on, and I think it might well. With the situation, we don't know if it's gonna improve or the opposite, but I think we are seeing several clients that are willing to buy, and we are just hoping for the best.
Wonderful. So, Tricia, you and me are wearing the same shirt, look like it. Blue. So tell me what's going on in your part of the area, how it has impacted because of current market, trade issues happening, and how do you see that is calming down the industry and the fear of people buying any property or selling is going to calm down, and what effort you're doing to help your client to have understanding of what's going on and how you're coping with it.
So we actually to date have sold more homes in 25 than we did in 24. We just have much more inventory, and we actually relate that due to higher interest rate, the unrest. I think, matter of fact, I'm on a mastermind most Monday mornings, and we were a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I think people are feeling anxious. They're feeling they aren't sure what it looks like. I said, so in 3 months, I don't think people know what it looks like. I said, let me restate that. 3 days, 3 minutes. I mean, that's how unrest everything is right now. The tariffs are on, the tariffs are off. So, and I really, I know it bothers a lot of Canadians about how the US president is treating Canada. And so I think it's causing a very big negative impact. Lots and lots of Canadians are selling their homes in Florida, not just because of the political unrest, just the cost of insurance and just daily, weekly maintenance. And some Canadians are selling here in Arizona, but they're not going to not buy again. They can't not go to Canada. But I think they probably are being a lot more diverse and potentially going to other places, i.e. Portugal, Mexico. So anyway, but our market in most cities in the Valley, and we're about the same size as Los Angeles, we're more of a seller's market right now, or a buyer's market than a seller's market. So, and we are seeing contributions towards closing costs here more than we have since way before COVID.
Are you giving any incentives or any contribution? Lots of time the client will want you to give back something, a compensation or something. Is that something happening there as well?
Yes. Well, the matter of fact, I'm having a conversation today with one of my listings, just under 700,000. And I said it's something that we might want to look at, like in 23 and part of 24. A lot of my transactions, and this is something we have in most of the states that Canada doesn't have, is a 2-1 buy down. So the seller pays for the 2-1 buy down, and that costs them 2.25% of the sales price. And that gives the buyers, if interest rates are at 7%, the first year they're at 5%, and the second year they're at 6%. And if interest rates come down, they can refinance if they came down to 5%. And that money, that 2.25%, goes into an account through the title company, and that money is theirs to put towards their closing cost if they do refinance. Because I think, and I'm going to have that conversation with my clients, and we did briefly before, I think in this market we have to be more creative and work towards the buyers that are actively out there buying, because they have to and they need to, and some want to. And that might get the one that wants to in the door by offering the 2-1 buy down. And that's something that's significantly different. And I'm sure you know this, Tahir, but in the States, we can refinance. We can also write off our mortgage interest, which is a big deal. That doesn't have that opportunity in Canada.
Yeah.
So if people were lucky and they had a 3% interest rate, if they stay living in that home, that's their interest rate for life.
Yeah, since our new government, federal government that came out, there is a rumor. I'm waiting for the confirmation. I think for the first time new buyer, we have a GST and HST that
Right.
they pay about 13%. So they are exempting the first time home buyers, which when they buy the property, you talk about $1 million, you talk about $130,000.
Yeah.
So there will be a rebate or they not be charged. So I still have to
That's a
learn.
big deal.
Big
Very
deal.
big deal.
And I have to learn a little bit about it. I think within our next conference, I will have more detail about that. Right now, that my understanding is that GST, because GST is 7%, and then
Right.
balance is a provincial tax, which is 8%. They make it, and varies. So now it's 13% total tax. So I don't know whether it's the entire amount or it's just one GST portion of it. Depending
Okay.
on each province, it will varies the percentage. So once I have that information, I definitely will share, because in Canada, particularly in Ontario, where I practice, we have a $4,000 deduction for land transfer tax, which is depending on closing costs. I always said that closing costs buying in Ontario is about 2% of the purchase value. So normal cases, seller pays a commission and they're free to not to pay to the buyer, or if they want to list on MLS, they could offer for that. So there is a freedom for buyer and seller in terms of compensation. So the buyer has to pay almost 2% to close the deal. So seller commission comes from the listing broker. Sometimes they offer, sometimes they don't, or the percentage of amount will be very different. So they decide that, the buyer will compensate their own broker or brokerage. Good thing is that last, I would say 6 months, interest rate is coming down. And our inflation was low. In last month, inflation went up a little bit before this debate on trade war started. So it went up. And I think now is back to 1.7. So we are anticipating interest rate reduction, hopefully in June. And that will really motivate the buyers to go out, because affordability is a big issue. And affordability is a key issue. That's why the federal government, new government is taking initiative to help somehow encouraging home ownership for the Canadians. And they did some exception to the rules for non-residents who are working in Canada. Their residents for 183 days in Canada, they are on a work permit. They can also buy the property now. Before it was prohibited. And but the Ontario government has a non-resident speculation tax, which is 25%. And if somebody want to buy $1 million and they want to put 25% down, they have to pay 25% as a non-resident tenancy, non-resident speculation tax. They also introduced a vacant tax. If you keep your property, you
I
bought the
know.
property and you keep it vacant and it's not available to the public, they will charge you the vacancy tax. So
Right.
there are interesting things happening where everybody is bending, creating rules of the game to improve fairness. And obviously, in construction side, I'm a licensed builder now, so the government is coming up program. They're giving incentive you build rental properties, which it doesn't benefit the real estate too much, but for the public, they can rent it out. So there are many initiatives taken by the government, federal, provincial, and municipalities to improve the shortage of housing, and that is the key in terms of getting things going, because I believe 35% of the economy dependent on real estate in Canada, particularly in Ontario, because it's big. So many industries are involved with this in real estate, buying and selling. You have a construction, complete material suppliers and manufacturers, equipment suppliers, and then you come to real estate, realtors, lawyers, appraiser, home inspector, plumber, electrician, you name it. All those are part of this whole team. So what do you think, Kiko, what do you think about in your area? How do you see is impacting where you have set up these brokerage? What are the feedback that you're getting from your
Well,
associate?
very simple. People are not happy outside the US.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world that I go, they start talking about politics, and I always have to clarify. I said, listen, the only reason that I'm here is to talk about real estate. You happen to be in Cambodia or Japan. I just came back from the Philippines and Japan. And I said, you are in Japan and I'm in the US. I don't represent and I don't work for the government. I don't control those factors. Obviously, I said to them that I am not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm with the Realtor Party, and I'm with
Yeah.
the people that support the housing issues and the real estate issues. Unfortunately, all these crises that has been set up with the tariff. I tell people, I say, listen, I'm not the expert and I don't want to be the expert. The only thing that I can know is that obviously that's creating certain uncertainty from people to say, hey, I would like to expand and let's bring Coldwell Banker, Century 21, whichever of the brands. And people are telling me, I said, I'm not going to invest any money in the US until further notice. And I'm not going to do anything that I can relate directly to, and especially you are in Canada, so you know better than me. But my friends in Canada, they said, Francisco, I will not go to the US until a new government it's set up in the US. And I said, well, invite me to Canada. I will be happy to go there. Unfortunately, I could not attend Realtor Quest, which I have attended for the last 4 years.
Yeah, we just
Since I was in Japan and Philippines, which was a highly important trip that I had to do to Asia. But I am I'm very happy. Every day pass by, and I always tell people, I say, listen, one day ahead is one day less that we have for changes. And whatever people decide, it's up to them. But for now, it's business as usual. I concentrated only on the positive side of who we are and what we do. We are in real estate. We are not politicians and we're not experts. And I'm not consulting in politics or any of those matters. I'm here to make connections and to see what you offer and see what we can bring to the table and be together. And that's what basically, but I'm feeling the pain, and people are not making decisions because they hesitate about what's happening in the US, and I have to say it's not only the tariff, it's everything that's happening in the overall, and like I said, I'm no one or expert to make comments on that, so I refrain from making any comments. But I said it's for some of us in the US it's confusing. Imagine somebody outside the US that is listening the tariff situation, the people that has been laid off from governmental position, not political positions, but working for the government. People that have been for years and years, they are without a job, and now they have, things that happening. The immigration cases. So even people are afraid to fly to the U.S. or buy an investment property in the U.S. because they said, I'm not going to spend $10 million in a home that my wife visa has been denied, and two of my kids, yes, and I have a visa. So a family of 5, 3 have visa and 2 don't have visa. So do you think that they're going to spend money unless it's a strictly investment? But so I think it's too much noise. And I always have said might be a good way to execute, and I think most of the policies are good, but I think they are badly executed, and unfortunately that's impacting, and I can't control that. Those are emotional feelings from people, but unfortunately it's hurting the market and it's hurting the US. And until we have a more stable and clear picture of how can we operate and move forward to a better future, we'll see what happens. It's I always have said that governments comes and goes, but friendships remain forever. So
Absolutely.
what should we worry about? I said, listen, wake up the next day. It's the last day that we can make changes. That's what democracy is all about. And if you need to go and vote, do it. That's a way to exercise that willpower. But I'm not a politician, so I can speak on one way or the other.
Francisco, this is why we connect on our Global Connectivity Conference, is that we have a huge global connectivity because we are able to meet people and get different opinions and guidance and their experience and success stories to help each other to educate and implement and improve. It's not end of the world. Every government and the elected people have the best interest for their nations, and they think this is good for their country, they will do that. Obviously, it will have consequences to the other partners. We are here for real estate. So the best thing for us is to read the guideline, look at the instructions, how it's going to impact our business, the way we do business. What are the changes that are being done? And when you have this kind of fear in mind for the buyer or seller to buy or sell, not to do, you need to educate them. This is the impact based on what we have today. And I always ask our fellows, please read those details, instruction, guidelines, regulation changes that affect your jurisdiction. So make sure that you are guiding your people. Because our consumer, they rely on us. We are regulated. I am regulated in the province of Ontario. We have our RECO, Real Estate Council of Ontario, AGM today. I just finished a meeting there. And they set up rules that we follow to implement and assist consumer and protect their interests because it's a part of our fiduciary duty. So I am sharing, you are sharing with me, Adriana is sharing, anyone who talks about their experience, it helps us when I have somebody who's going to buy the property in the US or Minnesota, I will be able to share that information or make a referral to that person. So it's very, very important for us to keep eye and educate and spend a little time every day to look at the regulations. What are the changes have taken place in the marketplace? how is going to expect me to conduct my real estate business? Am I successful? Am I able to calm down buyers and sellers to help them understand? Because the more you are educated, the more you are spending time learning yourself and sharing that knowledge with your potential client or existing client, you will do pretty good. And this is what important it is for all of us to do that. So, Adriana, you want to share something on that too? Your mic, you need to unmute the mic. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I think regarding the market, as Kiko said, I think we have to keep positive and focus on real estate and the business. Just focus on our activities. And in real estate, there are always people moving. Always, they need to move. And I think is what we have to focus on. Yes, the environment is not the best now, but the market is still moving and people still need to relocate. People still need to go ahead. People still have a life. They have babies. They have a family growing or downsizing. They are still moving. So that is what we have to focus on, I think.
All right. So I'm going to share with you the most recent data from Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, I think the world's largest MLS system, where we are able to even promote listing from overseas into our system. So being your CIPS partner, if you have a listing there and you want to promote through my network here, I have the ability to promote those listings through our global, our Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. So I'm going to I'm going to share my screen and give you some information, and then we'll do a little presentation on this. You'll see where we are. And here we go. Let's see. I'm going to bring this down. And this is slide. So this is amazing that we have now done 51st Global Connectivity Conference. And I'm very proud of that we are able to meet and talk to each other. And why I created the Realty Coffee Talk. Realty Coffee Talk is there for more than 10 years, but we started this on digitally after pandemic. So goal is to create connectivity, increase awareness, because consumer, our client, we have obligations to building consumer confidence in real estate and promote good ethical business practices. We are member of NAR. The word is in your hand. You are a CIPS. So we created this Global Connectivity Conference. The professional network is a very powerful connection. So we get to know each other, build long-term relationship, and facilitate a business collaboration amongst all members. So my goal is to ignite the spirit of connectivity and cooperation within our global real estate professional network. And we have more confidence because we know each other. We are meeting each other very frequently, once a month. And we are professionally governed by the highest professional standard of practice as CIPS designee of NAR. And this is the network where we have Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. I'm a member of that. So all this area you see is, this red one is a Toronto, then we have a North, and Mississauga is right here. This is right here. And we are looking after all these through one MLS system. So I'm going to make it short here. So you can see from there, in April, we have a minus 23.3% sale. And we have, in 2024, we have 7,302 sales, and now we have 5,601 sales in 25. New listing, 8.1% increase from 24 to 25. And active listing, 54%. That means it's a buyer market. So we have 17,783 in 24 in April. Now we have 27,386 active listing. So that means more people are selling as a buyer market. Average price as compared to April to this April, minus 4.1. And it used to be 24, 1,155,219. Now is 1,107,463. This average price is based on all transactions through Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. So it does not reflect direct sale by the builders or property that is sold privately. They are not included in this listing. And we also have a more MLS system that may not have this data. So this is only Toronto Regional Real Estate Board data. If you look at this, I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to bring you down. So average price, detached home in April 25. So we have two areas. 416 is Toronto, and 905 is other area, Mississauga, Brampton, Oakville, Oshawa, other area. So this is the average price. So you can see there is about 400,000 difference between 416 and 905 in average detached home. It does not talk about 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, or 5 bedroom or luxury home. It's just an average. We have a details of every region, every city is a very big report. It's called Market Watch from Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. But you can see that we have, in April, 2,556 transactions took place between 416 and 905. And average price came to 1,431,495. And 905 it was 1,324,280. And 416 was 1.7 million. So 416 is a high, it's Toronto. So semi-detached, we have only sold 565 through TRAB. And 416 was 1,266,322. And 905 was less than a million, 944,934. So if you combine them together, it's 1,088,848 for a semi-detached. It doesn't talk about size, 1 garage or 2 garage or 1 bedroom or 5 bedroom. It does talk, just say semi-detached. Townhome, we sold 983 in April 25. And 416 was 1,018,449,000. And in 905 was 884,746. Average between the two was 912,628. And condo, we sold 1,430. And average was 416 was 710,724. And 905 was 618,196. Total average between the 905 and 416 was 678,048. So this gives you a little average price of the home. Obviously, viewers who are watching or they will watch this program, please, you need to connect your real estate profession in your area, or you can call me directly and I can help you to evaluate your pricing. This is an average based on total transaction in April 25 through TRAD, Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. Now, year over year change, you can see detached home minus 21.7%. For detached home, semi-detached minus 10%, townhome minus 22.9%, and condo minus 30.4%. Now look at the average price change. You can see the detached home minus 6.8%, and 905 was minus 6.9, and average is minus 5.4 between the two regions. Sami was minus 7.2 in 416, and 905 was minus 5%, average minus 4.1%. And townhome was a 0.7% positive in 416, but minus 5.2 in 905. and minus 3.9 between the both of them. And then you have a condo, minus 7.3 in Toronto, minus 6.1 in 905, and minus 6.8%. So these are the actual figures, average price by major home type. If you look at these details, and we started in January, it was a 1,641,000. Now in February, it went to 1 million more. It's very hard to read here. 86. Now it's higher. And now in April is 1,107,000, which shows on the report. So average price, you can see from here, this is kind of bad. I'll show you on the other report. Okay. Let me come back. Okay. So now you can see that it has improved, but the sale has gone down as you look at the first slide. This is the forecasting from Canadian Real Estate Association. They are predicting no increase Canada-wide they're saying annual percentage change remain unchanged. But they're predicting 2026 will be 2.6% increase. And we are in Ontario, so they are saying it's going to be average sales forecast is minus 4.2%. And they're predicting sale increase in 3.2% in 26. So these are the other provinces. And here is the sale prices. Average price here, they're forecasting minus 0.3 across Canada. Average forecast for 26 is 1.2. And Ontario, they are forecasting minus 0.9 compared to 24 and 0.8 increase in 26. So this will give you kind of average price forecasting. It can change. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. This is a necessary step to achieve success in real estate, how we deal with them, preparing buyer checklist, sharing listing data, prepare an estimate of closing costs. We need to have a consent to advertise. Advertising on the world's largest multiple listing system that we can cooperate with our brokers. We always sign a referral agreement and fee agreement when we are making a referral to each other. And only my jurisdiction is Ontario, your jurisdiction is Minnesota and other areas. That's why we make a referral to each other. This is a buying a real estate process in Ontario. So when you make a referral to me as a CIPS registrant, I will search the property and make an offer for the client. And then obviously we have a conditional offer. We have appraisal, mortgage, inspection conditions. Though satisfied, when everything is firm, the agreement is sent to the lawyer who is representing the buyer or the seller, in this case buyer, and the lender will send funds to the buyer's lawyer, and those buyers that know that the money does not come to real estate brokerage. It goes from the lender directly to the lawyer who's making closing, and the lawyer will transfer the deed, the ownership and register mortgage charge on the title, and secure title insurance against a title fraud. So this is an additional responsibility on the lawyers to make sure the consumers are protected. So if there is any issue with the title ownership, is a Ontario government program, and the buyer's money is protected. So in a brief, important things to remember is always prepare estimated closing costs for your client. In Ontario, is about 2% of the purchase price. But if you buy in Toronto, there are 2 land transfer tax. So that means your cost of closing will be about 3.5%. Non-residents and foreign buyers may pay speculation tax about 25% in Ontario. And when the lawyer will hold the money for the foreigners to clear from CRA for sale tax. If you have a capital gain, the lawyer will hold the money. They get a certificate from CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, before they release surplus funds to the foreigners. And obviously, you need to consult with the chartered CPAs, chartered professional accountant, to make sure that you understand that tax implication. We have a network of many professionals that we make referral. And also consultation with the barristers and solicitor, because they are the one who do the closing. And it's very important to have them. We have a huge network of those professionals. So foreign buyer can buy property and secure mortgage financing. And there are some restrictions in terms of what type of property they buy. It depends on the buyer, what they want to buy, and we can help them to understand that. And buying real estate in Ontario is not related to immigration. It's a separate process. Lots of people think that you buy a property and you are able to get an immigration. So we have
To learn more about real estate and mortgages, please visit Realty Coffee Talk and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. To learn more about real estate and mortgages, please
we have now over 400
visit Realty Coffee Talk and subscribe to my
YouTube. And if you are not a member of Global Real Estate Professional Network, please do join. If you are already there, we post all the videos and everything there. And our next will be 52nd Global Connectivity Conference on Thursday, 26 June. It's always 1 p.m. on the last Thursday of each month, just to remember that. And I'm going to stop sharing. So I hope that you like it. Any comment, suggestion, welcome. Just keep your mic open.
Thank you so much for the information, but unfortunately I have to drop the call. It was great, hearing from you. Nice to meet you, Adriana.
Nice to meet you,
Kiko.
Kiko.
Yes, looking forward to see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
Good luck.
for
Bye-bye.
joining. I really appreciate that. It will be recorded and put on my YouTube channel. And if you want to share with your colleagues working anywhere, we have now, I have 491 episodes on my YouTube channel about buying and selling real estate, mortgage financing, and building custom homes. So thank you very much. We'll see you next our conference in June. Enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful day. And
Thank you.
wish you all the best and success in real estate. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.